Hi Gemini, this is Heather, the medium on a mission, and I'm bringing you your October forecast, and I'm super excited to be doing them this month. I don't know, the energy, I've been feeling for a while that the energy for October was going to be pretty intense, a pretty big positive shift that's occurring. And I'm seeing it, I'm feeling it, I'm seeing it in interactions. I did a couple readings the other day, and each individual mentioned the same thing that I had been feeling, and we were talking. It's palpable. There's a shift that's occurring. It's an undertone. It's underneath. I mean, we're going through the fall equinox right now. For those in the northern hemisphere, and in the southern, we've got the spring, but that part of it as well, I feel like plays into a little bit of the shift that's occurring. We've got the Libra new moon that's happening today. So as I'm filming this, depending on where you live, is when we've got the new moon for Libra. And so that, obviously that's new beginnings. But these new beginnings feel very different. They feel very purpose-driven. There's something about, I think to some extent we all want to kind of line up with our purpose, but there's the shift that's occurring and pushing things out, and the feeling of doing it in a way that, like, no regrets. Like, it's the feeling of just sort of letting go and no longer feeling that the obligation and the need in which to hold on to those things that no longer serve. So I think oftentimes we feel that, like, we have to hold on to things for whatever reason, obligations or anything like that. But I feel like this shift is saying, you know what, it's okay to let go. And so I feel like people are doing that, and it's a little unsettling, but it feels good. It's like that the feeling of changing jobs or something, where you know that this job, this relationship, this thing no longer serves you, and you're saying, I'm moving on. I can't do this anymore. And so it can be scary, that change, but it feels like it's for the highest and greatest good. And so I would just encourage you to kind of do a scan of your life, and I feel like it's now, you probably saw some of the signs of it towards the end of September, but I do feel like throughout the month of October and extending on really throughout the rest of the year, I feel it. I'm not an astrologer any stretch of the means. In fact, I almost sort of, whether it comes to the way that I read cards or do, kind of listen to astrology, I really trust spirit wholeheartedly. I've always trusted spirit, and so I actually kind of like it, because spirit will tell me a message, and it'll be validated through astrology, or it'll be validated through the cards that come out, or just signs and symbols. So I just trust spirit fully, and so I usually let them lead the way in terms of the messagings, and then go validate it. Sometimes I'll do a reading or something and get informations and downloads, and sure enough, Google says, or some book or something validates something spirit had said, that concept. And so that's where, kind of, when I say, trust spirit first and foremost, that's most important for you. So I feel like for everyone, you should always trust spirit. So with that being said, we'll jump into the October readings. And my intent for the readings, I did want to pull in kind of the Halloween. I love Halloween. I've always loved Halloween, just because I feel like since I was a kid, the one time I can kind of, we can talk about the things, and the spirits and stuff that people don't do on a normal basis. And so it felt like it was always pulling me into alignment with kind of my purpose and stuff. And so I'm far be it from me to do a October video without highlighting that kind of aspect of myself. But I do, my intent is always to keep the messages for the highest and greatest good, and it's always to do it in a way that is most loving. And so, we can look at life with as a glass half full or half empty. And so my choice for all of these readings will always to keep it half full. I don't feel like it does anyone any good in this world to spread any sort of negativity. That's not my choice for my reading. So if that doesn't resonate with you, feel free to move on. If you're looking for validations of whatever sort of vibrational feelings you're feeling, if this doesn't resonate, feel free to turn it off. But otherwise, if you're looking for, that kind of the positive element of life and the encouragement, then then stick around and we'll see what spirit has to say for you for the month of October. So with all that being said, we'll jump in. I'll kind of explain my process and the way that I work. So when I do the readings, I always start, I do the body, mind, and spirit. So this month, spirit is really, they're giving me a lot of oomph this month to do a lot more. There's a lot of messages. I feel like they've been chomping at the bit to come forward. And so, in fact, I was going to use some different Halloween cards, but they didn't come in time, and I got to do it. I feel like I'm being pushed. Spirit's like, you got to get on these videos, and especially for you, Gemini. I'm not sure what's going on for Gemini for October, but Spirit made me feel like I need to give some extra encouragement to Gemini this month for some things that are going on. So again, this feels very much in line with what's going on with the Libra new moon and some shifts that's occurring. But I always start kind of the videos with giving a little keyword, something that Spirit had given me a download on, and for you they gave me support. And so it's the feeling and knowing that support is around, it's coming. Just keep, trust the process, trust how things unfold, that it is unfolding for your highest good. And so it's almost like, that song, Bridge Over Troubled Water. I kept hearing that song as it relates to your sign. And so I trust Spirit, and they told me I have to do your sign first, so that's what I'm doing. And so, all right, so let's go ahead and jump in. I feel like I've talked long enough, but I just wanted to make sure that that was clear in terms of what I'm getting there. So the way that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it a little bit different this month, but I'm going to do mind, body, body, mind, and spirit. Starting first, that's kind of the lowest to the highest sort of form of energy, if you will. And my first, I'll be using the Good Tarot by Colette Baron Reed. And I do, again, disclaimer, I do things my way. I don't read the cards as they come out by the book. I have my own process, and so I get kind of the messages that Spirit gives me, and I give them to you directly. But if you see the cards and they mean a different thing to you, then please take that as well. So, I always feel like there's dual meanings in everything. Spirit never wastes a thought, and so if they say one word and it resonates with many people, that is exactly what they're seeking to do. So they're it's a super conscious, it's so much higher. They understand the big picture, and it's never going to serve just one person. So my intent is always to serve the greater good there. So and so as I'm just sort of tuning into your messages for October, Gemini, I am feeling, I always bring through any spirits that come forward, again, for the highest and greatest good, any passed on loved ones, guides, anything like that. And I do have 3 male energies that are coming forward. And I feel there's a strong feeling of support for you at this time. And I feel this feeling of, like, I know you're, they're just wanting to give you a lot of support, like, we've got your back, we're here for you, because I do feel like there's been some struggle. I'm not going to lie. I feel like there's been this feeling of being alone. Nobody understands me. Nobody gets me. Where do I fit in this world? But I feel like for you, and again, I've got, like, it's almost like I've got, the vibration right now is really intense for you, that they really want to emphasize this message for you. So please know that, again, Spirit was really pushing me on doing yours first, and said that you need to hear this, and you need to know that you are okay and you are supported. So, all right, so let's jump in and see what we've got here. And I thank you for all the feedback that you've given prior. I'm going to not shuffle here too much as I'm talking and giving you guidance there. At least try to be more mindful of that. So I always appreciate the feedback on anything here. So this is a work in progress, certainly. Okay, so this one popped out, so I'm going to take this card here. So Healer of the Ages. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's a pretty strong, that's, looks like Jesus Christ to me. So I'm going to put that one right here. Make sure you can see that here. So let's see. All right, perfect. So as I just sort of tune into the message here, yeah, this is really strong in terms of the body connection, knowing that we come into this life in physical form. We are a spirit in a human body. It is very important for you to know that. You are not your life circumstances. Those do not define you. You have the capability in which to break through those things that are beyond what you're experiencing in this 3D life. There is other opportunities for you, but you really have to know that you're guided and you're supported. And so, you know, the thing that I get with here, it's card 51, but I keep the 6 is significant as well. He's holding out his hands as to say, you know, I'm here to support you, call upon me. And again, some of you, whoever your belief system is, it could be the universe, it could be spirit, it could be God, it could be Jesus Christ, it could be Mother Mary, it could be Buddha, anyone that you feel, it could be a loved one crossed over, it could be one of these 3 men that are standing here in support of you, anyone that you are seeking, any angels, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Michael, any of the angels that are around. Josephine. I know it's Jovile, but could be Josephine as well, because I always had her coming into my energy and she would give me that energy as well. So at any rate, it could be anyone, but know that you are being supported and being helped through this process. And I feel like this is significant here as well with the fire. With this new moon in Libra, it would be really important for you to do the like a spiritual cleansing, if you will, doing a release of what no longer serves you. The fire, I'm getting really intense with that. It's this feeling of you've carried a lot of burdens with you in this life, and it's the feeling of letting go, that what no longer serves you. I feel like there might be a father influence as well around this, whether you carry some, and it doesn't mean that your father was a bad person or anything like that. You might just have a heavy heart. There may have been a loss associated to your father that you carry that you've never quite healed from, or you may have a dynamic with your father where maybe he didn't give you kind of what you needed in life. And so I feel like, you know, the father kind of stepping forward is symbolic there as well. But you've got some massive support this month, and I'm not shocked that that's the first card that came up, and Spirit was like, you've got to do their reading first. It's really important. I mean, to the point where it was like, when are you going to do it? And so first card out, amazing. So we'll keep going here. And so the next deck that I'm going to be using is the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. And so these cards, in fact, I was in yoga this morning and I kept seeing them. They're like, you've got to use those cards. And so I just kept seeing them over and over there. And I'm sorry, I messed that up there. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I mixed them up. My apologies. You know what, that wasn't an accident. I felt like I needed to do this one first, but I put them in the wrong order, so I'm trusting it. I'm not shocked that they kept showing me this in yoga today, and those are the first cards that I popped out, so I apologize. So this card comes from the Energy Oracle deck by Sandra Ann Taylor. It's so funny. Spirit was like, you got to use those cards, and I put down what I thought was the good tarot to be first, and it turns out Spirit had other plans. So now we're using the good tarot. So I just love it how Spirit keeps me on my toes with that. It's so funny. Okay. I should have known. All right, perfect. So let's keep going. And so another body card. So what else is going on for Gemini Spirit from a physical perspective? What's in the physical 3D life? What are some of the things they're working through at this time? What are some of the energies that they need to work through at this time? All right, one just popped out. I'm going to take that one. So temptation. Okay. So let's see here. I'm going to put that right there. All right. So, oh, wow. Okay. Oh my gosh. So that's the card 51 and this is the card 15. So there's the reversal there. Wow. So there's something, it feels like there's really something going on in your life right now where it's this feeling of, you could see her kind of laying down, this angel in despair, this feeling of like not really knowing what to do, what choices to make, and this heart that's here as well. And this is my symbol for abundance with Spirit, but I feel like this feeling of, it just feels like, I feel like you know the right answer within your heart. It resides within you. And again, it may not be the right answer. You know, you may have a situation, I mean, it could even be as lighthearted as maybe a job situation where if you have a loyalty to a boss and if you leave that situation, then it's the feeling of how that will be judged. It could be a relationship where you may have had a relationship that you've been in for many years, but it's sort of run its course and no longer served you, and the feeling of I can't, my life is meant to be happy. And if that means my happiness is not in this situation, then I have to have the courage and willingness and desire to move on from that. It may be a situation where, just sort of as I'm tuning in here as well, I feel like there is some moves coming in for some of you, and it's this feeling of sort of moving away from things. It could be physical moves. It could be kind of the mental move as well. Again, I feel like some of you are sort of, there may even be some people that you've known from a childhood perspective that you had a close relationship to, or, you know, just the past, and it's no longer serving you. And so that comes out for me as well. There's something around that as well. But I do also feel like there is the connection with love. I also feel like there might, well, that goes back to what I was getting earlier. There might be a third party situation. And this is not third party in the sense of like, but I feel there's genuine love there. And so it's all done with good intent, and there's no malicious intent. But I do feel like it's the feeling bad about wanting what you want. And so the biggest thing I would say is just know that like your life, you're meant to live your life to be abundant and to be happy. And it's this feeling of like, you can see her, she's looking down. It's like, and this pot of gold is right here in front of her, but she doesn't feel like she deserves that. She doesn't feel like she can have that, but it's right there for the taking. And so it's really important to know that you really have to do a scan of life, especially throughout the month of October, as all of these shifts are occurring. Whatever I spoke about at the beginning, whatever any of that is, there's something that's shifting, and you have to just be willing to embrace it and like not be afraid. And you know, a lot of times we let the fear of what ifs hold us back, but again, at the end of the day, you're always going to hurt someone. There's going to be hurt feelings, but it's all growth. And sometimes closing of a door is in the purpose of helping yourself and others. So some of my biggest losses in life, some of the things that I look back and I'm like, in the moment it was hard. I actually know, like, and I've always been very spiritual, and I've always had my guides. I've always had that conversation and knowing that, you know, this will benefit you someday. You're going to be able to use those words to help others, but help yourself as well. And so I just know that to be true with your situation right now. Whatever this is, I feel like it is heavy on your heart. You know, this is what I mentioned here, the kind of the troubled waters and the feeling of like, what do I do? Keep moving forward. It's going to get better. But I feel this feeling of like, there's a significance there to 51 and 15 and the reversal of those things. So really taking your situation here, the 15, card 15, and reversing it to sort of embrace the love and support that you've got from those on the other side, in which to turn it around for the positive. So really putting that in their hands as well, and asking for support. There's nothing wrong. You know, spirit on the other side is wanting to help you. They don't want you to come in and live a bad life. They want to support you throughout your process. And so this is a journey. This is one of the heaviest schools that you'll ever do in your spirit life. And it's hard, and they know it, but they're rooting for you on the other side. Think of it like you know, it's like the parents when you take your kids to like cheer or gymnastics or like, you know, anything like that, where they don't want the kids to be distracted. They don't want to have the kids see the parents on the other side, but the parents are over there rooting for you and excited for you. That's exactly, that right there sums up spirit and what they're doing. You may not see them, but they see you, and they are absolutely cheering you on, and they want what's best for you. So we'll keep moving along here and see what last card spirit has from a body perspective. All right, spirit, what messages do you have for Gemini from a body perspective? What's the other body circumstances here? Okay, wanderlust. Okay, so anytime I get this card, this is very much for me. It's about the feeling of wanting to, okay, yeah, definitely. This desire about wanting different things, wanting to change, wanting to move, wanting to see new things. It's all everything that was just coming up with here, but it's the acknowledgement of that, and there's nothing wrong with it. You know, when we see it wanderlust, it's like, okay, cool, yeah, that's great. Like, I have a wandering spirit, but then back in the day, people would call gypsies and like, oh, they never settle down, they're moving around too much. But there's nothing wrong with that. Again, life is meant to be abundant, and life is meant to have life experiences. And so Spirit's saying, don't feel bad about that. Like, go seek out what you desire in this life and fulfill it. Like find your true north and embrace that. So again, do it with no apologies. Don't feel bad about it. Keep moving forward because life is intended to be abundant. So we'll move on here to the mind cards using, again, the same energy oracle cards from Sandra Ann Taylor and see what Spirit's got from a mind perspective. All right, I'm gonna do some shuffling here. All right, let's see what Spirit's got. Spirit, what do you have for Gemini from a mind perspective? What's been on their mind? What are some of the things that they've been thinking about that they need to work through at this time throughout the month of October? Okay. All right. I'm going to take this one here. All right, perfect. So third chakra, Archangel Shamuel. So card 37, and that to me is a 10. That's the, so the third chakra is really getting into, wow, this is, oh my gosh. Okay, so the body, everything I spoke about on the body, and then you look at the third chakra here, and that's really pulling in the willpower, the drive, this right here, getting in, moving forward. When we're in a space where we're blocked in that space, it feels like gosh, I'd love to go do that, but I don't deserve that. Or, oh, I'd love to go and, travel the world, but, who am I? Or I would love to apply to that job, but I don't think I'm qualified. And Spirit's saying you absolutely are. You need to trust and know that you are just as powerful as anyone else. And you can do whatever and seek out whatever you want. And in relationships as well, it feels like that's an element of it as well. That this feeling of, well, I guess life's just made to be this way, this is how I'm supposed to be. And it's not. Life is intended to be fully abundant, everything good should come to you, but you have to align your vibration to it. So this is really, this card is really prompting you to, again, the alignment of those energies, especially with this new moon coming in and the feeling of you gotta go with it. You gotta go and trust and know that, what will happen? What's the worst that will happen? Just do it. Just do it. All right, so let's see what the next mind card is here. All right, Spirit, what do you have for Gemini from a mind perspective? What else do they need to know from a mind perspective? Okay. All right. So pull this card here. Okay, Ace of the Earth. Okay, so wow. So the aces are obviously, the feelings, the emotions around things. But I really, as I sort of tune into this card, it's this feeling of, again, it's almost like the being of this life, you are of this earth plane, you are in this space right now, but it's also acknowledging that sometimes this feeling I just don't feel it. I kind of feel like I'm misplaced. I feel like it's kind of going back to what Spirit is, as these are kind of unfolding, it all makes sense to me now why Spirit was kind of pushing me on this one, because sometimes when you're in this space, you don't necessarily feel like you belong. And life can get out, and go in different directions and whatnot. But Spirit's urging you on this one that you are. This is very much you are of this life, and just know that you have the capability to do anything and to see anything and to be a part of anything you want. So it's really about kind of taking that in your hands and grabbing it and seeking out those things. Yeah, this is really about, again, there might be a strong, I feel like there's something strong around kind of your direction in life, your drive, your north, where you're going, back to this as well. There's something around that as well. So keep going forward with this. Spirit's just saying, keep going forward. It's really, it's kind of I do feel a little bit torn with the emotions around the kind of the physical elements of life and those type of things. So just know that this is all validating in terms of what you're going through, and just to keep going down that path, because you'll be good. So let's pull another card here in terms of the mind. What else does Spirit have to say in terms of the mind connection here? Spirit, what do you have for Gemini for the mind? What's the... All right. Okay, abundance. Of course. So what was I saying here? The card with abundance, and that's my card for abundance. These are the cards. These are my, so let me show you my cards here. So when Spirit Speaks are the cards that I've created. And just to give it a little bit of background, I created these cards because this is really when Spirit, from a young age, Spirit would show me signs and symbols. And since I started fully kind of developing at the age of 33 in my spiritual, like when I kind of had my awakening to become a medium, communicate with Spirit, I would keep a log of all of the signs and symbols that Spirit would show me. And this, whenever I'd see this kind of the pot of gold, the money is when I would know that that's kind of the sign of abundance and good things coming your way. So this is what this is right here. So going back to everything I was saying, Spirit is basically saying that this is on your mind. These are things you're thinking about. This is really what you want in life, but it's kind of the hold back to that energy of like, do I really deserve that? Can I have this in life? And Spirit's saying you absolutely can. And so let me, so we'll keep going here and we'll see what just general Spirit messages that they have for you. So this is kind of your highest and greatest good. This is more of your like super conscious. What are the things that maybe you feel, but you don't, it's like your ego, your mind gets in the way of those things and you're not necessarily focused on you're not connected to what Spirit necessarily has to tell you. So this is basically coming forward and saying, Spirit, what does Gemini need to know from a spiritual perspective? What is really the spiritual messages that we have for them for the month of October? Okay. All right, so this card here. Okay, the thinking woman. Oh, wow. So, okay, if you can see here too, and then there's and this is card 47. Wow. So what do we have here? This was the card 10, and wow. Okay, so this is the progression of this. So card 10 was right here, right? And so now we've got card 47, which is 11, right? So this is kind of the progression of this. So that's kind of amazing there. And the thinking woman, you know, she's kind of looking back here. She's kind of she overanalyzes. So again, this is your Spirit saying you really think too much. You're really kind of in your thoughts too much about things, and kind of you have this worry that's not necessary. You don't have to worry about these things. And it's interesting because there's this butterfly that's really Spirit. Spirit speaks to us many, many ways. And I've been seeing a lot of the yellow butterflies. And that Spirit saying, look, like we're right here and you don't even see us. Like we're standing right in front of you. We're here to support you. But you're looking past that. You're not seeing the kind of the forest through the trees and kind of the beauty that's in front of you. And so they're really telling you to kind of embrace that and know that they're here to support you and you've got love from them as well. And so that's really important for you to know this time. All right, so let's see what Spirit has from the Good Tarot to say. In terms of a spiritual card here. Okay, perfect. Let me pull these. They're a little hard to shuffle. All right, Spirit, what do you have for Gemini from a spiritual perspective? What do they need to know at this time? Okay. And as I'm doing that, I feel like the month of January, there's something significant there as well. Okay, so Ace of Fire. All right, so this goes back. Wow, you've got the aces here as well. Earth, and then you've got fire elements as well. And so these are the kind of the passion, the emotions. There's a lot of this makes sense in terms of the intensity that they were bringing me associated with the energy, but this is a feeling of also going back to kind of burning you know, the Christ's hands there and having the flames come up. And you can almost see like a face in here as well. Spirit's just telling you, release what no longer serves you. You've got to sort of let go of what no longer serves you and redirect your energy into the place of passion where you most deserve to be. And so that's really important for you to know at this time as well. I feel like there's a lot of intense energy for you. I feel like there's a lot of good things coming your way, but you have to sort of get out of your own way with this and feel like you can just move forward and let go of all the thoughts and concerns that other people might put in front of you there. So, all right, so let's pull one final card in terms of Spirit, and what's the final message that Spirit has for you for the month of October, Gemini. What messages do you... Okay. All right. Okay, here we go. So summer. Okay. All right. So it feels like, let me just sort of tune into this message here. This feels like it could be obviously around timing, but there's also something about a lot of times, you know, okay, God, thank you. Okay, Spirit, my guides are telling me here. So one of the things, if anyone, you know, in a space where they have a winter and kind of the summer, depending on where you live, right? Some people, okay, guys, sorry, my film had stopped there. So basically what I'm getting around this, there's a couple things. If you're in a space where, depending on where you live, it's the feeling of, like if you live in Florida or a hot area, you know, when the summer comes, it's like, oh crap, brace yourself because the intensity is coming. And so you kind of go inward, you stay inside, you just maybe don't, like, you know, the heat can be so much. But it's the transition of those things as well. So, you know, this could be different for different people depending where you're at. But what I'm really feeling with this card, it's the feeling of like, it's coming into the new. And so sometimes, like, if you're in a space where you've been sort of in the winter of your life, if you will, right? And so you've been in the space of like, oh gosh, you know, it's just, you start to get kind of that seasonal depression with the just being inside all the time in the winter, and, you know, being cold, for, you know, for those of you who are in that space, if you live in an area where you understand what I'm talking about. But it's the feeling of summer coming and just knowing that things are getting better, right? And so you've got the, you know, the master card here that's sort of coming forward and saying, you know, everything's going to be okay. Like, just know that life is intended to be abundant, and you've got everything. Spirit's fully got your back with whatever situation that you have going forward. And just know that, it's that bridge over troubled water. They're here to support you. Like this, it's amazing because they really kept pushing on this. Like, we're the bridge. We're helping them through this transition of what's occurring right now. But it is for your highest and greatest good, and it will get better. And so with that, I'm going to do one final card. So I thought these cards were fun, especially being like October and kind of like, you know, Halloween. So these are my affirmation cards, and so for all these cards I'll put a link down in this description box below. So these are 50 affirmation cards, and so I'll just sort of pull a final affirmation card for you to see what Spirit has for Gemini for the month of October. What Spirit messages do you have as well? There's something about the number 14 too that's significant. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm seeing 14 over and over, and they're showing me in different months too. So I'm like, okay, why are they doing that? So there's something about the number 14. And I don't know, that might be going back. I don't know if they did the card 14. Is that card 14? Okay, no. I wasn't sure why I keep getting that, but I'll keep going with that. So, all right, let's see here. Spirit, what messages do you have for Gemini for the month of October? All right, we'll pull this card here. Okay. Impermanence. So like, oh wow. Okay, so this is, so if you can see that, and that's kind of like, oh my gosh, you guys, that's like, you can see here the summer, and there's the ocean here and the beach waves here. Oh wow, I love when Spirit does this. Okay, so impermanence, and so you've got it says here, life is always changing, and I drift easily through those changes, good and bad. As I drift through hard times, I can take comfort in knowing that I will leave them behind. As I drift away from good times, I can take comfort in knowing that more will come my way. Impermanence is an equal opportunity nonentity, excuse me, nonentity. So that's amazing, and I just feel like that really sort of embodied a lot of what we were seeing here with the abundance cards, the summertime. And so just please know that things are getting better, that your life is intended to be abundant. You can and should have everything you truly desire, and just know that Spirit's got your back, and they're here to support you this month. So Gemini, I do hope that this resonates and is helpful for you. If you like it, you know, let me, or if it does, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear the feedback. I always love to hear the feedback from people. You can email me too. Some people just do that as well, but I always love like sharing any light and messages that I have from Spirit. So I wish you all the best for October. Many blessings. Namaste.